Welcome back to What You'll Learn. My name is Adam Ashton.
And my name is Adam Jones. Today we are reviewing Peak by Chip Conley, how great companies get their mojo from Maslow.
So quick bio on Chip. He went to business school. When he was 26, he started his first hotel, and he made more and more hotels, ended up with 52 hotels that he sold to the Marriott group, I believe.
And now he's with Airbnb.
Airbnb now, yeah.
Yeah, so he's the leader of the whole hospitality thing.
Yeah, so there was 3 founders, and Chip's like their mentor and the hospitality guru.
So the whole book is taking the famous Maslow's hierarchy of needs and applying it in a really practical way for employers, investors, and employees.
Yeah, nice. So I, before this, read the original Maslow, which is pretty short. It's like an essay, not more than a book. And it's sick, but it is very much like, here's the 5 things, the 5 needs, but this is sort of making it more tangible, more applicable.
Back then, it was a really big leap in terms of understanding human motivation, right? So he's got this quote at the start of the book, Chip says, which kind of touches on what Maslow's theory actually is. So it presumes that the human being is a wanting animal and rarely reaches a state of complete satisfaction, except for a short time. As one desire is satisfied, another pops up to take its place. So a satisfied need is not a motivator or behaviour. Nice.
So if we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which a lot of other books have referenced and a lot of other people talk about, he's got 5 levels of needs. So the bottom level of this pyramid is physiological needs. So that's food and water. And so as Maslow says, once a need is satisfied, it's no longer a motivator for behaviour. So once you've got food and water, you don't go out looking for food and water.
And if you don't have that, that's all you really care about.
Exactly.
You care about getting your meal.
Exactly, man. So the next level up, once you've got food and water, is safety. So safety, shelter, not being attacked. Once you've got safety, the next level up is social and belonging. So having other people, friends around you.
Yep. And I'd say probably this is where the Western countries, all developed countries, we're probably sitting about there pretty comfortably.
Yeah, exactly.
Most people anyway would have thought.
Yeah, exactly. Most people got food, water, they've got safety, so they don't need that as their primary motivator of behaviour. The next level up is esteem. And then the top level is the big papa, self-actualisation.
Yeah, you're following your calling, you're doing, what's a good painter?
Becoming what
Picasso
you
kind of stuff.
were meant to be or can be. Or
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Chip kind of morphs this into his own pyramid and he simplifies it down into 3.
Yeah, so Chip's pyramid at the base is survive. So obviously the survival needs come first, which is the combination of physiological and safety.
And again, this is in the context of employee, employer, and investor. So this is the first goal for those 3 categories is the survive. The next is succeed.
Yeah, and succeed combines a social plus esteem. So after you've survived, next you want to succeed. And after you've succeeded, the big papa, self-actualization, Chip calls it transform.
Yeah.
So Chip's, in summary, pyramid is at the bottom is survive, the middle is succeed, and the top is transform. So what Chip does now is he applies those 3 levels of the pyramid to employers, employees, customers, and investors.
Yeah. So we'll start with employee. Starts with employees, right?
Yes.
Employees.
The employee pyramid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we'll get into that now. So the very base. So right now we're trying to get employees and do the absolute maximum and get them right up to the top of self-actualization needs to get them a fully motivated, unbelievably awesome and productive employee.
Yeah, exactly, man. So the bottom level of the employee pyramid, which is the survive level, is creating base motivation. And base motivation comes from money.
Yeah. So when you're an employee, whatever you're working, the absolute rock bottom, what you need is some money to survive and get by, pay the bills, look after your health and all these kind of things. Anything beyond that, you're not going to get them too motivated.
Exactly, man. A Zig Ziglar quote, money isn't the most important thing in life, but it's reasonably close to oxygen on the gotta have it scale. So you need money as your absolute base motivator.
Yeah, that's it. So, and it doesn't necessarily just have to be just purely cash. Once it's achieved with the cash part, you can just start increasing the benefits. And this is probably more of a US thing because we've got a pretty sick healthcare here. Sorry, US listeners.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. The other fringe
benefits
benefits that Chip says, they're not fringe anymore. There's other benefits. And because, remember, we said as Maslow, once a need is satisfied, then adding more of that thing isn't a motivator for behaviour. So once you get your base level of money, you don't need more money, and that's going to make you more motivated.
Spot on. And at the end of every chapter, he's got peak prescriptions.
Yeah.
The other chapters I didn't really, have so much, but I didn't mind these ones in this chapter. And the first thing you can do is determine your employee's current state of mind with respect to your company's compensation package.
Yeah, exactly. So that's obviously the starting point, is know where the current state. Are they happy with their money at the moment or not?
Yep. You can ask your employees, what do they think of their current situation,
Yeah, and the important thing that he says here is search for perishable assets that would make a difference to your employees. So it could be something that you produce where you've got surplus stock that you can give to your employees as an extra benefit. Or it might be, if you get a gift from a supplier, sharing that between employees. Or it might be that the head of marketing has got season tickets in the corporate box at the footy or something, and then you can give away once each week tickets to employees, something like that.
So that's the very base of the employee period. It's pretty straightforward and pretty self-explanatory. You need to get paid enough to get by, and as we move our way up to the second level in the employee pyramid, we need to realise that companies that get preoccupied with just this whole money thing, they're never able to transcend and get employees to that next level of motivation. So
exactly, man, exactly. So our base motivation, which was our money, the next level up, where we get the success level of the pyramid, is creating loyalty. And to create loyalty, it's through recognition.
Yeah, so this is satisfying the next level of needs of the employee. Once they got money, everyone needs to be recognised. And there's a quote by William James, which is pretty cool here. The deepest principle in human nature is the craving to be appreciated. Hunger is associated with craving, and as physical hunger needs are met, the kind of hunger that is next is this recognition.
Yeah, nice. And so in terms of recognition, Chip says there's both formal recognition and informal recognition. And to create a culture of recognition, you need strong formal recognition and strong informal recognition.
Yeah, that's it.
So I guess the most common company is a strong formal and a weak informal. So they might have their annual awards night, which is a formal form of recognition, but they're weak on the day-to-day informal when your boss passes you in the corridor and says, thanks for doing a great job.
Yeah, or at the bar, or just the informal stuff. So you need both.
Yeah.
The other one, which gets if you got weak formal and weak informal, you end up with a culture of neglect.
Yeah, and that's obviously bad, the worst of both worlds. If you have weak formal and strong informal, it becomes very loose recognition culture where they've got the informal stuff, the ad hoc stuff, but there's no formal recognition where they recognise whatever the formal recognition is.
And the big papa, which we're all after.
Strong both.
Strong formal, strong informal.
Yeah.
And the big one with informal, just touching on that again, it's important to be sincere and deserved, and you can't just be full of shit.
Yeah. And the best type is like specific, individualized, often on a timely basis. So I think it was like maybe 1 Minute Manager or something, catching people doing the right thing, giving them informal recognition at the time that they do it, not at the monthly review where a month later they say, oh, that was really good when you did that report for me 3 weeks ago. Yeah,
that's it. And with rewards, the good thing about rewards that you need to do is it needs to be customised to the taste of the needs of the recipient. So I don't know, if it's a dude who loves footy, don't buy him tickets to the ballet or something. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Or if it's us, mate, buy us books, don't buy us a Netflix subscription. Actually, that will work as well.
Mate, you watch bullshit Survivor all the time. What do you want about?
I've already got
Slow lane.
Mate, that's the highest leverage use of my time.
And the second is publicly offered so that the honoree is held in higher esteem and others can be encouraged to follow suit. So this is the formal side of things.
Yeah.
And 3, immediately available to the recipient so that there's some instant gratification.
Yeah, exactly, man. There was one cool story Chip told in regards to recognition and feedback. It was from Southwest Airlines. And so when they had this training day, they did a game, and there was one blindfolded person. They had to throw a ball into a basket. And essentially there was 3 different groups. One group, they weren't allowed to give any feedback. So this guy's throwing blind. He doesn't know how he's doing, and obviously doesn't do too well. Group 2, they can only say generic things like good job or keep trying, and that doesn't help him too much either. Whereas the third group, they're able to give specific, directional, constructive, concrete, informative feedback, and obviously he was able to find the basket a lot quicker than either giving no feedback or just saying good job.
That's it. Feedback is good. So that's the second. So that's the middle of the pyramid. So right now you got money, you're being recognised, and a lot of employers would probably leave it there. But the next thing we need to do is create inspiration, so the employees are just absolutely running wild, doing awesome shit.
Yeah, that's it. So we've had our base motivation, we've had our loyalty, and now we want inspired employees, and they get that through a sense of meaning. So a quote from Jim Collins in Good to Great, which we did, in the end, it's impossible to have a great life unless it's a meaningful life. So we need meaning. We need meaning in one's work, both what we do day to day, as well as a sense of meaning from the company as a whole.
He breaks into some quote here, for the definition of inspiration, and it's just another level of meaning. It's just on a whole nother plane. He says, the word is derived from the Latin and root spirare, meaning spirit. I'm sure I pronounced that perfectly.
That's good.
To breathe, to give life, the breath of God. And the dictionary defines inspiration as breathing in, as in the air to lungs. So it's all this kind of really deep shit, really.
Yeah, nice. And so we can have meaning and inspiration both in our work and at work. So in our work means the day-to-day task, roles and responsibility we have. And then meaning at work means we're sort of aligned with the grander mission or vision of the company as a whole.
Yeah, that's it. So you need a bit of both. And if you're high in both, you're going to have an inspired employee.
Yeah.
And, which is fantastic.
Exactly, man. So that's our employee pyramid. So at the base, we need base motivation, which comes from having enough money. The middle, succeed level, is a loyal employee, which comes from giving strong formal and informal recognition. And then at the top, at the transform level, is creating inspiration through a sense of meaning, both in their work and at work.
And how this plays out in the world, and you probably know this yourself as you're listening. So if you just see your 9 to 5, Monday to Friday thing as a job, you've probably just got the survival things ticked off.
Yes.
If you call it a career, so if you're on the career path, then you just got the success level. You're trying to just get successful in your career.
Yes.
But if you're at the level of inspiration, you're probably going to be calling it your calling, and that's probably much more rare. And that's the transform. So if someone's going around saying this is my mission in life, then they're obviously at the top of the self-actualization level.
Yeah. Yeah, nice. It lines up
job,
really
career,
tightly,
calling.
doesn't it?
Yeah,
job, career, calling with the 3 levels of the pyramid. That's sick.
And if you want to go to the next level, you know what's missing. If you want to jump between jobs.
Exactly, man. Exactly. I like that a lot.
Yeah, it's good shit. So what's the next one's for employers, right?
Customers, mate. Customers. There is no employers, but
isn't it?
We just did employees. Now we're onto the customer pyramid.
Oh, we are too. Yes.
So the bottom level, the survive level of Chip's pyramid, is creating satisfaction. So you want satisfied customers. And to get satisfied customers, you just need to meet their expectations. So that's a very base level of the customer pyramid.
Yep. So with the customer, the journey we're going to go on now is going from this base level of, as you just said, is just meeting the expectations. And then you said he's having just a normal, typical customer. But by the end, we want at the top of the pyramid guys who just absolutely rant and rave about your product. Yes. A bit like me and Tesla and Elon Musk, which I always rave on about.
Have you you got a Tesla?
No, not yet.
Okay.
But I love the brand.
Yeah. Nice.
I'm an evangelist. So when company leadership focuses purely on meeting the expectations of their customers, they can become sitting ducks for a surprise competitor with a new mousetrap.
That's it. If you're just meeting expectations at the very bottom level you're at the survive level, then if someone comes along with something better, you're going to get blown out of the water. And
Yeah, and that's, I reckon most big companies are a bit like that.
Yeah, just at that base level, meet expectations. What the customer wants is what the customer gets and nothing more.
And he's got a bit about a few other books he takes out from here and The Innovator's Dilemma and Crossing the Chasm. Yeah. And they've outlined why customer innovation often happens at the margins by outsides instead of industry leaders. Yeah.
Because the industry leaders, all they have to do is satisfy the base expectations, whereas the new people who can't just crack in by meeting expectations, they've got to offer something more, something better, something innovative.
Yeah, they got to push that a little bit harder.
So the middle level of the customer pyramid, which is the success level, is creating commitment. So having a committed customer, having a loyal customer, and that's achieved by meeting desires. So the first one was meeting expectations. Now we've moved up a level and we're meeting desires.
And again, it's this idea of the individual desires. So it's understand the unique preferences of the one customer.
Yeah. And now there's a few things that he talks about here that he says only 1 in 5 customers are truly committed, truly loyal. And there's a few examples or a few ideas he gives where you can meet desires rather than just base level expectations. So one he says is memory. So if there's a repeat customer who comes in again, if you can remember what they did last time, like so they've already told you what they want. If you can do that again, then that's meeting their desires without being prompted. So it might be that if you go to the local cafe and you have a skinny half-strength soy latte, it's something you've already expressed what your desire is. The next time you walk in, if you don't have to order and they say, oh, you want a skinny half-strength soy latte, then you're going to feel pretty good about yourself and you're much more committed than having to say your order again.
Mate, I've had that experience where a little sandwich shop business failed that completely about 10 years ago. It kind of etched in my... It was a big pain inside me. But it was like, in year 9 or 10, and I got a new friend from school and I was showing him, went to lunch with him, and I went into this chicken schnitzel shop and I go there all the time, right? And then I just went in there and walked in and said, oh, yeah, just the usual, thanks. And she kind of looked at me with a blank face and I'm like, oh, yeah, chicken schnitzel, cheese, lettuce, tomato, in a roll with mayonnaise. Anyway, she failed completely.
Yeah, and mate, that's it, mate. You wouldn't have had your desires met.
I didn't go. I went to the next
exactly,
Charm and Chicken Man just down the road next time,
mate. Because that's it. If it's somewhere you go every time, if you can just order the usual, that makes you feel pretty good about yourself.
So yeah, obviously memory is big. Another way you can do it is comparison. So comparing them to the other customers, I think this is just a worse way of just saying stereotyping people, really.
The other one he calls editorial preferences. So it's something like, say if you've got a customer and she buys flowers for a mum for Mother's Day, then you can perhaps infer that she might want to buy flowers for a mum for a birthday as well. So taking things like that and making assumptions based on their purchases is a good way of meeting desires.
Yeah, totally. And this is much harder for a bigger company, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you are a bigger company, you got to really find out ways where you can really act small and, for the individual customer. Because, if you're a big company and work for a big corporate, it's really hard to really treat them like individuals.
Chip says that essentially people want to say validate me, essentially, that they want to be recognised, they want to be seen, they want to be more than just a number to the company.
Yep, so that's creating commitment. So the first one's meeting expectations. The next one, when they walk in the shop, what the usual is, and you give them the chicken schnitzel roll.
Yep.
And then the next one is creating evangelists, to the point where they're going out and they're absolutely enthralled by your schnitzel rolls or whatever your product might be.
Yeah, so the evangelist, it's almost that idea of the sneezers from Purple Cow. The evangelist is someone who's so pleased with your company that they're going out and telling other people how good you are. And that's what you said was meeting unrecognised needs. So a good Henry Ford quote, if I'd asked my customers what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse. So what we need to be doing is meeting these unrecognised needs. So even if the customer doesn't know that they want a car instead of a faster horse, Henry Ford's the man who realises the car's the way to go.
It's just the absolute next level. I saw an advertisement at a bus stop by AGL, which is an energy company in Australia, and most energy companies won't operate at this level, but they just showed a big field of wind turbines and just said, "Are you with us?" So it's kind of this idea: are you with us on this journey to end and climate change kind of thing. So it's kind of meeting this absolute highest level of a customer.
Nice.
And I'm not with AGL, but it really did speak to my higher needs.
Man, I like that. If I try and do this on the fly, which is always dangerous, the base level expectations for an energy company would be when you flick the light switch, the light comes on. That's a base level.
Or even just cheaper energy where they're competing on price.
Mate, they're meeting desires, don't know. But then the unrecognised needs is realising that the energy is coming from a good renewable source that isn't killing the planet.
Definitely. So there you go. That's how you get evangelist customers.
Yeah, exactly. So
he says important.
He says that like one way is to the Peter Drucker question: what business am I in? So always thinking that even if you're in the business of selling electricity, maybe you're actually in the business of ending global warming. So thinking that next level at the top of the pyramid, not the bottom.
Absolutely. That was very good on the fly, mate. Well done.
Part 4, which is the investor pyramid.
So on the surface, when I first saw this chapter, I was thinking
skip it.
This would be almost a skip. It'd be the least relevant. Just thinking it's big dog investors investing billions of dollars. But it's more from the context of, there's always someone investing in you, whether it's you're going for a job interview or you're going for a mentor or you're asking someone to give you anything any of their resources for yourself. You're really asking for an investment from someone else. So it's more of the context of this, which is super relevant to everyone.
That's great, man. I like that summary, because I was the same, man. When I saw investor pyramid, I was like, oh, I don't know how many people actually have investors in their startup, so maybe we skip this one.
Yep.
But the bottom level of the investor pyramid, so when you want someone to invest in you in any way, is creating trust. So that's the absolute base level for an investment relationship.
Yeah. So again, it's just this transactional alignment. So you both got an understanding of what the transaction is between you two at the very base level. So if it was in the context of financial, you give this, I get this.
Yeah, exactly, man. And at the financial example, it's just the easiest one to explain, is the bottom line, essentially, how much profit you're making. So it could be things like the rate of return, the strategy for liquidating, things like defining your marketing and your approach to differentiation, and the cash needs of the business.
Yep.
So that's the absolute bottom line is just the basic transactional stuff.
And it's trust that they're going to deliver. So if you're going for a job interview and you're asking for this employer to invest in you, and you're putting on your CV, this is what I can deliver, and then you're both in understanding of that, then there's this trust. And without that trust, they're then obviously not going to employ you.
That's great, man. The next level up after trust is confidence. And the trust comes from transactional alignment, and the confidence comes from a relationship alignment or a motivational alignment.
He says the secret to investing isn't becoming the ultimate whiz kid at financial models and being this awesome guy with an IQ of 99.95. It is more to do with sorry, mate. It's more to do with building long-term relationships with entrepreneurs and business leaders and so forth. So, a good investor, again, in the financial world, isn't this genius with dollars and spreadsheets.
Yes.
It's the one who can get along with the most entrepreneurs and influential business leaders.
Yeah, exactly. And he tells a story of they had a regular driver driving traffic, and a professional driver who they instructed to try and change lanes as much as possible to get the best path, the quickest path, cutting in front of people. And he says that the professional driver got there like 1 minute quicker, but he burnt twice as much petrol and a hell of a lot more stress. So he's saying that in terms of an investor relationship, whether it is financial, whether it is more personal, that always switching lanes and always looking for something better to come along is not the best way. That's just like a short-term strategy. The long-term strategy is to find someone that you are aligned on a relationship level and stick with it.
Yeah. So that's good, man. That's the middle. So at the start, you got this trust and you understand what you're giving and receiving to each other. The next level is you're getting along and you got this kind of relationship built up with them. And then the big papa, where you're just, on another planet in the self-actualization kind of stuff, for lack of better articulation, is creating a pride of ownership.
Yep. And so say if it's a financial investor, it's having this ability to create a legacy through their investment. So it might be your AGL Energy, someone invests with them and realize that the legacy could be ending, burning fossil fuels.
Yes.
And that's that legacy rather than just making 10% a year from your investment.
If you're asking, say, if you're trying to get a mentor with someone who's well above you in terms of this is relevant to me, because I was like trying to pitch this to someone recently.
Yeah.
But, who's already got all the money in the world, it's this kind of idea that you're both going for the same kind of change in the world.
Yes. And they can create that legacy by mentoring you rather than just mentoring the person below them who's going to take their job one day. That's a very transactional one, whereas a legacy could be someone who's going to create massive change over the long term.
And again, for an employee, if it's a company where the company's actually got real values, and then so do you, and then you're both going for striving for the same kind of self-actualization kind of business.
Yeah, nice.
Good shit.
There's a quote from Ken Blanchard, one of his books. I think he did The 1 Minute Manager. He says success is about getting, but significance is about giving back. So that's this legacy level. We're giving back to something beyond just getting success for ourselves.
That's good shit, man. So that's the three levels of the investor pyramid.
Yeah.
So that's it, man. So you got the employee, which what were those three again?
So the employee, the base motivation coming from things like money and other benefits. The next level up was a loyal employee, which comes from recognition, both formal and informal. And then an inspirational employee, which comes from a sense of meaning, both in their work and at their company.
Then you got an employee going absolutely wild, doing some really good stuff for you.
Yeah.
Then the customer pyramid, at the very level, at the very base, you're meeting expectations, and that's just creating just basic satisfaction. You know, they're just satisfied with what you're doing. The next level in the middle is creating commitment, and that's meeting desires. So that's doing the unique preferences of the person, and you're giving them the schnitzel roll as soon as they walk in. And then the next level is meeting unrecognized needs. So it's like speaking to the higher values of what they want to do in their life, and that's when you create some serious evangelism.
Nice. And then the third pyramid was the investor pyramid. At the base, the survive level, we're just creating trust and a transactional alignment. The succeed level, we're creating confidence and a relationship alignment. And at the top, a pride of ownership through a sense of legacy.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man.
Mate, I liked Peak. As I said, so I read the original Maslow and I thought it was sick, but it was almost like, this is really good ideas, how do I apply it? And Peak is a way where Chip's taken these, made his own pyramids and put 3 different ways that you can apply Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yeah, it's super practical, man, because the Maslow's hierarchy of needs is just one of those things, like a lot of books, to be honest. Great concepts, great ideas, and they make a lot of sense, but it's kind of the bridge between a great concept and applying it to everyday life is sometimes a very big one. So this kind of creates this beautiful bridge from some of the probably the best work in like psychology of all time and applying it to everyone in 3 different areas of life. So, mate, I reckon it's to be honest, it's a 250-page book.
Yeah,
I reckon it could have been knocked out in 90.
Yes, I agree that the summary is great. There's a lot of other examples that we cut out. So pretty much every chapter had 2 or 3 examples from businesses who are using the Peak principles, like Zappos shoes, like Facebook, like a whole bunch of other companies that are using these, and good to read. But in summary, this was the best stuff.
Yeah, it's a sick book, bit of fat, but yeah. If this really kind of aligned listening, it struck a few feathers, then buy it. Otherwise, don't worry,
mate. There's just as we're finishing up. Tony Robbins has also sort of done his own Maslow's hierarchy of needs as well. So Tony Robbins relies heavily on the 5 things that we said at the start, and he's changed his to 6 levels, which he's got certainty, uncertainty as the base, and then he's got love, connection, and significance in the middle, and then at the top he's got growth and contribution. So Tony Robbins has done the same sort of thing in taking Maslow and applying it.
Yeah, he's ripping off Big Chip, isn't he? He's probably ripped off, or he's ripped off a few people in his day. He just claims it. He's just very eloquently, quit your fucking job.
Mate, we're going to speak to Chip.
Yeah.
And ask him about Maslow and Peak.
Yeah, and apparently he throws this huge party every 5 years, mate. I reckon we'll try and
get our way into his 55th birthday, shall we?
Yeah, I reckon we're a shot, man. So there we go.
If you haven't grabbed it yet, check out our top 50 document where we list and rank our favourite and most impactful books of all time.
So we've been reading for a while, and when we've been reading, we've been mining for gold. And then all the gold from all the gold mining is kind of compiled into this one book of gold. So it's gold to the power of 3.
That's it, man. The best books, the best stuff. whatyouwilllearn.com/top50. TOP50.